Boom, welcome on to Podium Sports. Today, I want to discuss Oklahoma and the absolute whooping they took on Saturday afternoon for the University of Texas. And I want to kind of talk about now, past, present, and future. I'll start with now. I think everybody sees the problems with Oklahoma's offensive line. They lack a receiver because all five of their star receivers is out. And I don't know when they're going to be back. And, so those guys are out. I was told, coach, I saw a video talking about Bureau Sharp's best tight end in the country. He can shut his mouth. Bureau Sharp's not even the best tight end on his own team. I just think they lack at every single position. And I think it's mal-recruiting. They don't have any tight ends because they haven't recruited any real tight ends. They don't have an offensive line because they haven't recruited and built the offensive line through the high school level. They don't have all their receivers are hurt. They say best corner Gentry Williams is hurt. My thing with OU is, and this is what I heard somebody say too, is like, what the heck did they do in the summer for strength and conditioning and in spring ball and fall camp? Because if it wears on your players that much to where you have five of your starting receivers out and your best corner and offensive linemen have been in and out for most of the year, like, what did you do in fall camp? Like, what's the issue there? Like, is it a fall camp? Because something got to be figured out because you can't be missing a potential first-round pick corner in Gentry Williams and your five of your starting receivers and your offensive linemen are banged up and in and out of the – your offensive line's already bad enough for this and you have to play backups. What did you do? I mean, is it a strength and conditioning problem? Is the players not handling their business with nutrition problem? I mean, what's the problem? Is it discipline? Like with, okay, are you eating this? Are you drinking this? Are you taking care of your body? Are you going to show up to practice hydrated? I don't know what's the problem, but that is inexcusable to have that many injuries. Something has to change there. That can't be an excuse of, blah, blah, blah. Because guess what? A lot of these other programs aren't having the I mean, you go look at OU's injury report. It's horrendous. It's horrible. It's probably one of the worst, if not the worst in the country. They have a long list of dudes that are either out, probable, doubtful, questionable every week. So I'm trying to figure out, like, strength and conditioning wise, what's going on over there. Because you can say, it's injuries. But the top teams like Georgia, like, yeah, they have injuries, but not to the extent OU has them. So to me, that's a concern. Something has to change there. Second of all, I'll say this. Just coaching-wise, I never thought Brent Venables was the answer, and I still don't think he is. At the end of the day, it's an offensive error, and you're hiring a defensive guy. You're going against the grain, so he's already starting at a kind of a negative slope, right? A negative position because it's an offensive error. This is not Nick Saban's error. This is Steve Sarkisian, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Andy Reid era, right? Now the Belichick and Nick Saban. So that and Pete Carroll. So that's the first thing. That's my first thing with Oklahoma. So my next thing is, and I want to start with the defense, right? Everybody's, the defense that, Oklahoma has a good defense. So when did we decide Oklahoma has a good defense? Because Texas just scored 35 and it really should have been 50, 60 if Quinn didn't miss those two throws that we all know he should have hit and were horrible passes. So their defense didn't look good on Saturday. Who they play? Tennessee. But if you watch that game, after the game, Tennessee coach, they have a clip of it where he said, he told Nico Umeavele, like, I pulled back because our defense is playing so good. The same thing Texas did when we pulled just this last Saturday. When you know another team can't score on you, what's the point of trying to put 50, 60 on the board? Like, you're not, I mean, like, obviously you're going to try, but it's like, you're not trying to go, like, at that point, you're just trying to run the clock and get the game over with. Like, you're not trying to force anything. So, that's all. That's what that is to me. So, Tennessee pulled their foot off the gas because OU's offense couldn't score. And we all knew that. Texas, Texas put their foot off the gas and still scored 35. At what point in the season did we decide, you got a good, I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, when did we decide, OU's defense is certified, that's a good defense? I'm trying to figure that out because I still don't see who they've beaten to say, or who they played to say, they stopped them. Because like I said, Texas walked them down for 35, and it should have been 50, 60. Tennessee took their foot off the gas. Because if they really kept their foot on the gas, you're telling me Tennessee couldn't have scored in the 40s or 50s, you're lying to me. But I mean, they had no problem. I mean, honestly, no problem. Obviously, Oklahoma's defense getting fits, but like Tennessee didn't. They weren't trying to run the score. Like they weren't trying. I don't really believe that Tennessee. And coach said he's like, I took my foot off the gas. Like I wasn't. I was trying to get the game over with. I mean, once you get to the 20s versus Oklahoma, if your defense is good enough, the game's over. So there's that. So I don't know when we decided OU's defense is good. Like, oh yeah, well defense is good. I don't know when that was decided. That put a flat out and they're like, oh, defense played good. And I'll say this to people like, oh, defense played good versus Texas. No, they didn't. Isaiah Bynum was wide open for a touchdown and Quinn missed him. That had nothing to do with OU's defense. Matthew Golden was wide open. And that was like 20 yards down the field. Quinn missed him through a pick. Overthrew him he thought he was doing Yamada when he threw that ball over his head, right? So, I mean, that had nothing to do with OU's defense. So, I don't know what made people inclined to say OU has a good defense or that they play well versus Texas or that they play well versus Tennessee. I don't see it. Like I said, we'll see about OU's defense when they play Ole Miss and LSU and Alabama. Then we'll see about it in Missouri. Then we'll see DeBoer, Lane Kiffin. They're playing the best of the minds in the sport. So we'll find out how good OU's defense is by then. I don't think OU has a good defense at all. And I don't believe it because I haven't seen it. And nothing showed me Saturday that that's a good defense. Because they couldn't stop the park car the way they was playing, the way Texas was playing. I'm just going to be flat out. So Ben Venables, even in what's supposed to be a strength, isn't so impressive to me. Offensively, they're horrible. They're going to continue to be horrible. And I just don't think this is going to be a one-year thing. You cannot fix this offensive line. Somebody like, oh, well, all 4 to 5 starters are like juniors or whatever. They're going to come back next year. You cannot fix this offensive line in a year. It's going to take longer than that to fix this offensive line. So my next question for Oklahoma is, because it took Texas to get 3 years to get where this, or it took us 3 years to get where we are, or it is sucks for it, but 3 years to get where we wanted to be on the offensive line. I'm thinking as somebody that watched the team grow the offensive line, that takes time. It's not a one-year thing. Trust me, right? So if they think they're just gonna wake up and like, oh yeah, next year it'll be fixed. Dudes are older. That doesn't matter. Like that, just because you get older doesn't mean you get better. Like I just want to preface that just because you get older does not mean you get better. That is a fact. Even at a young age, just because it does not mean you can go from 2021. He's still completely sucky, right? And what is better? Because at the end of the day, you see what kind of dudes Texas got and Bama got and LSU got. Are they better enough to block those guys? Because they're not. It doesn't mean anything. So at the end of the day, yeah, it can be better to beat Tulane, but you ain't playing in Tulane's kind, playing the SEC, right? It just means more. So that's my thing for Oklahoma is it's not going to be a one-year thing with Oklahoma's offensive line. It's going to take a multi-year thing to get their offensive line to an SEC level. So that's my biggest concern. Like, oh, well, next year, it's not going to change anything. My biggest concern for Oklahoma is, like, that's not going to fix anything. To me, like, it's going to take multiple years to get off the line where it needs to be at an elite level. So especially to the point where you had with Orlando Brown. I mean, all those guys they was putting in the NFL, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Creed Humphrey, all them dudes they had it put in the NFL. It's going to take a minute for them to get back to that. Ben Powers. It's going to take a minute for first, second, third, fourth, fifth round picks. NFL guys, big time. Big Bill's like $200 million in contracts, $100 million, like NFL and NFL offensive lineman. Like he put dudes in the league. Tyler Guyton is horrible for Dallas and says a lot. Kind of Tyler Guyton like represents the Oklahoma football team. He's horrible. He's just as bad as the team, and he's actually playing for him. So I just think for Oklahoma fans, they're like, oh yeah, it's going to be a one-year thing. Says who? Offensive line is not a one-year rebuild. It's a multi-year thing. And right now, our offensive line is horrible. And that's the best they could put out right now. And you're not going to, hopefully all you fans understand, you're not going to be able to rebuild a whole offensive line through the portal. Because the biggest thing for an offensive line is, and this is the best example I give you, Alabama has the most talented offensive line in the country. You can't convince me otherwise. They left tackle is Caden Proctor. They left guard is Tyler Bucker. Their center is Parker Brailsford. Their right guard is Jaden Roberts, and their right tackle is Elijah Pritchard. That is the most talented offensive line in the country. But they gave up four sacks in the first half of South Carolina. If you cannot play as a unit, it means nothing. Having great individual players on the offensive line means nothing if they can't play as a unit. These guys, offensive lines, offensive defensive lines, I think are the most important when it comes to cohesiveness and playing as a unit because they have to work in tandem. No defensive D lineman can work by himself. No offensive, it's a 4-on-5, it's a 5-on-4. Sometimes it obviously more than 5 for the defensive line, but most times it's a three-man D line or a 4-man D line. Just in your base looks. So it's a team effort when you rush the passer. It's a team effort when you're trying to protect the passer on both sides of the ball. You have to have cohesiveness and you have to build chemistry, and especially on the offensive line, most importantly. Because even though you rotate a lot, so you with a lot of guys. The offensive line's the same 5 every game. So that takes cohesiveness and it takes playing because you watch the offensive line, there's no excuse for them for Alabama. As great as Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard and Tamika Hemingway and South Carolina's defensive end, that people don't understand how good a defensive line is. And trust me, I want to talk about that. Oklahoma's in for a treat on Saturday. You think you're blocking South Carolina, you got nothing coming. You're not. That the fact that the offensive line is struggling the way it is, and it's going back to last year when they get 5 sacks versus Michigan, so in the first half, it says a lot. And I actually think about it now, that South Carolina game was very reminiscent of that Michigan game in the first half. It doesn't matter because Alabama has the most talented offensive line up front. But they don't play as a unit and they're not cohesive, so it doesn't matter. Texas offensive line is not the most, it also has talent, but it's not the most talented. And it doesn't have, but they play as a unit. And I'm saying. Also, they're talented, but they're not as talented as Alabama, and that 5 Alabama has. But they are a cohesive unit through and through, and went through the center to the tackles, to the guards, all play together, right? And they all have a connection. They all know, okay, he does this, he does this. I know he likes to do this, I'm gonna do this. When he does this, I know I can do this. They have a connection. They know, okay, he works here, I'm gonna work this way. I know he likes to work this way, so I'm gonna work that way. So they all can communicate. They all understand each other. So it's not just a 1 year like makeshift, put it all together, and we're gonna hope it works out because we're gonna bring in a bunch of talent, and then that's just gonna. It doesn't work like that on the offensive line. You gotta have cohesiveness. I'm sure Bill Beasley can tell you that. You gotta have cohesiveness up front on the offensive line. Or it means jack crap. So for me, Oklahoma in the SEC, I just don't see the offensive line being fixed year one. In my opinion, I think it's gonna take some time. Next thing I'll say is, at receiver, they have to get healthy. I think they find a receiver. Obviously, you might want to add a guy or two, depending on what the receiver looks like in the portal. But I think they'll find a receiver: Nick Anderson, Jaden Gibson, if Andre Anthony. You're bringing those guys back. Burks is going to go to the NFL if he stays healthy, and so I think they're fine at receiver. They just got to get healthy over there. At tight end, I need more. I need more. That tight end doesn't look very good at all. Ben Sharp or Buer Sharp and Jake Roberts is not impressive to me. At running back, I don't know who OU's running back one is. Is it Taylor Tatum? Is it Devontae Barnes? Is it Gavin Sawchuk? Right? They need to figure that out. I feel like they never figured out who their RB1 is, and it kind of shows in their offensive game planning. I never liked Seth Littrell. I never thought he was an offensive mastermind. I'll say that right now. I think they need to make changes in the offensive coaching staff, especially at play caller, because he's not also no Jeff Ledney. So I can say that right now. And then defensively, I think with OU, I think they could get to an elite defense or a good defense. And I said, we'll see. I'm not gonna say that they can't be or they won't be, but I will say to me they're not because I haven't seen that from them. So I just haven't, So that's just my thing on Oklahoma, flat out with them defensively. Now I'll talk about the South Carolina game. I think Oklahoma's gonna lose this game. Mainly because at the end of the day, games are won and lost in the trenches, and I was really impressed again with South Carolina's defensive line. I'm gonna be honest, they whooped out LSU's offensive line. It's supposed to be the best offensive line in the league, one of the best, and then they whooped Alabama's offensive line. They destroyed Alabama's offensive line in the first half with 4 sacks. So I think Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart off the edge is the best defensive end duo in the country. And I think Tamika Hemingway is as a monster up front. They got dudes I'm just not learning about past those guys. I don't know how he's going to block them. That's my biggest concern for Oklahoma in this game is how you going to block Kyle Kennard, Tamika Hemingway, D tackle, and then Dylan Stewart off the edge. I just don't know how they're going to do it. And then at the end of the day, I like Sellers more, mainly because he has been in Clark for longer than a year. They're both young quarterbacks, but I like him more. I like South Carolina's offensive line is better than Oklahoma's. I thought they did a really good job at times protecting. So I think they do a really good job running the ball. I think that's what the offensive line does a really good job of, running the ball and being able to lean on Raheem Sanders, who I like a lot. And so as long as Sellers doesn't turn the ball over, the biggest thing for South Carolina is just don't turn the ball over. Because that's the only way Oklahoma's going to score is if they turn the ball over and give them a short field. But Nick Imari, they number 7, one of the DBs, corner of safeties is really good. Like, they have a really good team and they're very well coached. I think South Carolina's going to embarrass Oklahoma. I don't really know if it'll be close, just because I don't know how Oklahoma's going to score on it. Like I said, in the SEC, if you can't, and this is what we said coming into the conference and why Oklahoma's in trouble. You got Kyle Kennard, Dylan Stewart, Tamika Hemingway. Then you put Ole Miss. You got Walter Nolan, Princely Umanmielen, J.J. Pegues. Like you play LSU, you got Braden Swinson. You play Alabama, you got Dave D-Line. Who, even though it's not the most impressive, versus Oklahoma's offensive line, they'll look like some war daddies up front. So that's my thing. Like, I just don't understand, this is the problem with Oklahoma. Is like, I don't know how they're going to win these games when they can't block anybody. And this D-line is probably the best. Outside of Texas, like, their front four, that front four for South Carolina might be the best they play all year. Because, like, Tamika Hemingway, I'm just like, y'all don't understand. Y'all need to watch Tamika Hemingway, Kyle Kennard, and Dylan Stewart. Those are certified. Those are certified studs. So I just said it right now. But yeah, I don't know how Oklahoma's gonna. And that's my biggest concern. Is like, yeah, it's cool. And then the next thing is they're missing all 5 of their receivers. So I don't know how you're gonna get a passing game going. Because South Carolina secondary is no slouch, and they can play in the back end too. And then, like I said, they stop the run, they run the ball. They're gonna lean on Raheem Sanders. So this is gonna be a big game for Oklahoma's run defense. I think Sonoran Sellers can throw it. The biggest thing is how fast can South Carolina get him back to being able to run, and being able to run him as a quarterback and do all the stuff they want to do with him in the quarterback running game. The faster that happens, the more deadly they get on offense. But I do believe South Carolina won this game because of the offensive defensive line in the trenches. And I just think even though he's also a freshman, having an older quarterback and a stud running back like Raheem Sanders and a coach like Shane Beamer who's going to have his team ready to play, say, look, we played horrible. He set himself up horrible with Ole Miss. We were this close to beating Bama. Now let's go finish it on Saturday when we play Oklahoma. Let's go get this win we've been fighting for. Let's go get it. Let's go finish the job. We got blown out by our Ole Miss and embarrassed at home. We were this close to beating Bama. Now let's go get a win on Saturday and go make this right, all right, and get back on track. This close to beating LSU. Like, this South Carolina team is no slouch. They can play. They went this close to Bama. They went this close to LSU, and they got waxed by Ole Miss. I told you how good that team is. And you watch Alabama and LSU's offensive lines, supposed to be two of the best offensive lines in the league, struggle to block South Carolina. I just understand how Oklahoma's going to block South Carolina. I think Dylan Hawkins, I don't even know if he makes up the season, I'm going to commend him. Because behind the offensive line, I don't know how he doesn't get hurt. With these SEC defensive linemen, he's getting killed back there. I think South Carolina will continue that. For sure. He'll wake up sore on Sunday. For sure. And that's a good thing. That's how it should be. Punish him. Punish that kid, man. Punish him. You know what I'm saying? Put him in the dirt at the end of the day. Flat out. If they can't protect him, he's going to have to pay the price. It's what it is. You chose to be there. That's where you want to be. Now you got to pay the price. And this is the SEC. Welcome to it, right? This is what happens. You go get your quarterback killed. I think they're going to get that kid killed. If he made another season, commend to him. Because it's going to be hard. With that SEC defensive line, the amount of hits he's going to get on him, man, it's going to be at a Russell. If you remember Russell was the Seahawks behind the Seahawks defensive line, where he was always getting the hits, it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be one of those years for him. So that's my thing. But I do think South Carolina will embarrass Oklahoma at home. And I think Brent Venables is going to be on the hottest seat in America, which is crazy. Hottest seat in Florida is crazy. But other than Florida, maybe, he'll probably be on the hottest seat. I haven't actually heard much chat out of Florida. Now we'll see. We're getting into the heart, just like Oklahoma. Everybody's getting to the SEC play now. So now you're getting to the heart of your schedule, the tough teams. Like I said, for Oklahoma, I think they're going to get ugly fast, and I think they're going to lose South Carolina and get embarrassed. And at the end of the day, this is a trenches league, and South Carolina has the better trenches by far than Oklahoma. And I think it'll show on Saturday. I think South Carolina's going to go get the win that they've been this close to getting. Like, we're going to finally, now it's not a top team, let's wait for that, but get back on track and continue this season they're having the success. And continue to be a program to be reckoned with and show Oklahoma fans this is not sweet. This is not sweet. You got to come earn it every week. All these Oklahoma fans, we're going to beat, y'all going to get embarrassed. They're going to embarrass Oklahoma. So just be ready. But yeah, I think one of a lot of issues. And the last thing I want to talk about is recruiting. Because if you know college football, you know recruiting matters just as much as anything else. Because if you can't recruit, you can't win championships. Especially Oklahoma, you got to recruit. My next thing for Oklahoma is, my concern is, I'm not concerned. OU fans should be concerned about. Texas is looking, the next time you see Texas, they may be defending national champions with Archman at quarterback. And they might be, and they're probably on pace and look like they're going to beat Georgia handily on Saturday on national team for all the recruits, right? So that's already a problem. And you know you got to recruit for state of Texas. LSU continues to roll. They're 5-1 for 4-1, 5-1, ranked 8th in the country. They're going to have a 9-10 win season, be a top team, maybe make the playoffs. If not, have a 9-10, 11 win season. And then continue. LSU's always going to recruit well. Texas A&M looks like a program on the rise. SMU's quietly, nobody's talking about SMU. I need to make a video on that. But they're quietly having a great season. And I'll tell you, as a Texas, they have just as much NIL money as Texas A&M. They're on that level. They try to, by the way, try to make a run NIL-wise to Colin Simmons, and they did. They made a run at him NIL-wise. I'll tell you how much money they have. They're 5-1. They're coming up in recruiting. They're going to, Rhett Lash is going to be recruited to state of Texas. He's going to take the NIL money and the boosters that they have behind him and go recruit to state of Texas as hard as he can, especially the season they're having. So that's A&M, that's Texas, that's SMU, that's LSU. 4 teams, I just told you, that are going to be recruited to state of Texas that you're going to have to battle against in the recruitments. And A&M fans are like, oh, well, if we go 5-7, we'll just run it back next year. By the way, this isn't NCAA, bro. And even NCAA, when you have a bad season, it gets hard to recruit. It's hard to recruit. You don't win those recruitments versus Texas anymore. You don't win those recruitments versus SMU. You don't win those anymore. Even in the video game, you don't win them. I've been through it. And in real life, you're not going to win them. These players see the games. When SMU could watch, I think I'm joking. When y'all get in the battle with SMU, y'all going to lose that battle. The SMU going to throw the NIL. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, well, we just won 8 games, 9 games. Shoot, might even make a run to the ACC championship. Who knows? But they're 5-1 right now. They're ranked top 25. We ranked top 25. Where you ranked that? Right, we finished season top 25. 9-10 win season, 8 win season. That's a win for them. Because okay, SMU, Dallas, Texas, don't got to go too far. That's how they gonna pay me NIL. They gonna pay me NIL. So I ain't gotta worry about that. Beat the state of Texas and Dallas. That's good. Better than going to Oklahoma. Hey, let's be real too. It's better than going to Oklahoma. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, flat out, and you got Texas, you got A&M, you got LSU. Like, those are the battles. The top players that you want, those are the schools. And even if you want to include SMU, A&M, Texas, LSU, those are the battles you have to win in recruiting if you want the top players. Colin Simmons was a Texas and LSU battle. Ant Hill was a Texas versus Texas A&M battle. Right? So, those are the battles that if you want these elite players, especially on defensive side of the ball like Venables wants, you have to win in the state of Texas, right? So, and you still got schools like Georgia's going to come recruit here. Alabama, Oregon, it's really pushing. They've really made a push in the state of Texas. Like, those schools are going to nationally, USC is going to come in here and recruit. Every school nationally is going to come try to, Nebraska is going to try to recruit. Every school nationally is going to try to recruit the elite players. So, my thing that's like even Kelvin Bank was a Texas and Oregon battle with Mario Cristobal. Same thing with Cam Williams. Both those guys about to be first round picks. DJ Campbell, Texas, Oklahoma. Our starting right guard is going to be an NFL draft pick. And you see how I'm starting to get at now? Like, those are the recruitments you have to win. Those are the ones you need to win if you want to be with the elite rosters and have the talent that y'all want. And if y'all go 5-7 and Texas is going to be making a run that championship, LSU looks like they can make a run to the playoffs, and looks like they can make a run to the playoffs. SMU's having a rebirth now with the NIL boosters they got behind them. They're looking like they could be a force to be reckoned with here in the near future, very soon, very fast. You're not just going to go win these recruitments like off a whim, like, oh yeah, well here we go now. We're just going to like nothing happened. No, we saw that. We saw the 5-7. So my thing for Oklahoma is this is going to hurt. This is going to set y'all back farther than y'all think, because recruiters are going to say, yeah, I'm not going to go visit y'all. I'm going to go visit Texas A&M or LSU. I'm gonna go to Texas, one of those schools, and Texas go to LSU, go to SMU and visit them, and I'm not even gonna pay attention to you. Y'all went 5-7. I ain't too interested. They won 8 wins. They won 9 games. They made a run to college playoffs. They had a really good season. They finished the top 25 team in the country. They're gonna pay me the same amount of NIL as you, if not more. Why would I go to Oklahoma? Y'all went 5-7. Y'all went 6-6 or whatever. 5-6 wins. That's pathetic. You had an embarrassing season. Fans are booing. I don't want to play for that. Y'all got blown by Texas. I don't want to play for that. Like, that's what it's going to be. LSU beat y'all. I'm recording this now. LSU will beat you. Along I'll fly out. But so that's what the fans don't understand. It's not just a video game. It's like, oh, we go 5-7 and we'll come back next year. Well, yeah, the recruit's going to take a dip, though. Y'all elite players aren't going to come to y'all, bro. Like, flat out. Like, this is not going to happen. You're not going to win those recruitments anymore. You're not going to be involved in those recruitments the way you want to be. And then y'all going to start complaining, oh, recruiting's not, we're after recruiting. I see Texas and LSU and they ain't getting players that we should be getting. Why are they coming to OU? Because you went 5-7. So y'all aren't thinking about that. Y'all think y'all can just run it back and people are just going to forget, like, oh, well, the same way when it hurt Texas when we was losing, right? Recruits didn't want to come the same way they used to. It's going to hurt. Y'all just think y'all some special schools not going to hurt y'all? It's going to hurt you, bro. That recruit's going to hurt you because you're not going to be able to recruit the way you want to. You're not going to get the guys you want. At the end of, if you want the elite players, you got to go recruit them. And to win those recruitments, you got to be winning. And you're not. So I just think Oklahoma doesn't understand what's in store for them. I don't think it's going to work out with Brent Venables, mainly because it's going to set him this season that he's going to have is going to set him too far back. And it will, honestly, the missed evaluation by Jackson Arnold is going to be what ends up putting Brent Venables to death. And every head coach has his quarterback that, okay, this is the quarterback you latch on to. This is going to make or break me at this program. For Sark, it goes Quinn. But you got to find a quarterback. Auburn's looking for theirs, and they don't find it. And Hugh Freeze doesn't find it fast. He's going to be just like Ben Venables out of a job. Looking on LinkedIn. So that's just flat out what it is. You got to find a quarterback that can help start your program up and win you games. So until you find that, I just don't know how they're going to be like, oh, they're going to go to the portal. Bro, I don't understand. It's like, oh, we're going to go to the portal over Oklahoma. Like, as great as that is, yes, y'all are Oklahoma, and y'all have won, y'all have the accolades, y'all have the stats. People only care about what you did recently. What you did in 2015 and 16, whoever kid is in the portal is going to care less. I was going to be honest, they care less. They care about what you do last year, who you got now, what happened last year. You went 6-6. I'm not interested. Texas said they just want a national championship. I'm gonna go over there. LSU just said they're going to do this for me. I'm going to go over there. They won 9 games. They look really good. They look fun. I want to play in Death Valley. That's why I want to play. I don't want to play in boring old Oklahoma where they don't even have a home field advantage. The only home field advantage they have is the refs. They fans, do they even show up? I couldn't tell. I don't ever hear that place get loud. So, just what it is. I think recruiting is going to be the biggest thing that gets screwed up for Oklahoma. Is going to set them back. This season to set them back a long, long time until they find a coach that can recapture that winning tradition that they have. So, until then, we'll see. But this is my breakdown of Oklahoma. Hope y'all enjoyed it, Oklahoma fans. Keep being salty. Texas rolls Oklahoma 34-3. They've got a lot of work to do, and head staff is in trouble. They don't figure out how fast it's going to get ugly. See you in the next one.